So the one question I ask when I always start these interviews is, if you've done so much in your career in wrestling, if you could sum it up in one word, how would you describe it?
Ooh, one word. Interesting. Literally interesting.
Interesting. That's a new one for me. Why interesting?
Because right, so here's the thing. You always look at what everyone else is doing, and you go, "Oh my goodness, I wish I was doing that. Or I wish I was there." And then you go, "Oh, I really haven't done much." It's only when you look back, or you speak to somebody, or somebody speaks to you, and they go, "Oh, do you remember when you did X, Y, Z?" And you look back and you go, do you know what? Yeah. So maybe you're looking at it now, and I always find it interesting that when I do look back, all the things that I have done, all the places that I've gone to, or matches that I've refereed, or shows that I've been involved with, so it's, yeah, you have to look back on it and go, okay, yeah, I did do things and I was there. And so, yeah, so I always find that interesting. That's probably my age. Ask somebody younger that question, they're like, "Oh, amazing! Oh, fantastic!" Me, it's like, interesting.
And how many years is it now? Is it like 31? I think last time I read it, I could be around that.
35.
Wow. I mean, not many referees I know can do it 35 years.
No, 35 years. Um, I am 50 plus, so yeah, 35.
Yeah, we'll have to talk about that and stuff like that. Steve, how's the week been for yourself, mate? All right?
Yeah, actually it has. Yeah, today was really good. So since February, it's become interesting for me because I've become a grandfather. So, or pops, as I like to be affectionately called. So yeah, so this morning I spent a few hours with my second grandchild. So yeah, no, it's good. It's good. And again, I've been to new places this year. Um, oh, well, you were just asking what the week was like, weren't you? Sorry. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, yeah, it's all right.
And stuff like that. So yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say anything exciting, but it sounds like you've had an exciting week.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, I was at work, and then so, but just sorting out different things because there's a few things coming up end of this month and into next month. So you're sort of juggling everything around, doing your normal life. Yeah.
Absolutely. So, let's obviously start with the fan questions and stuff like that. Obviously, I've started to use these first now. The first one comes from somebody I think you know pretty well called Tom Scarborough.
Yeah, right. Yeah, Thomas.
And he says, has Steve ever trespassed on a beach in the Middle East?
He would know. He was there. He trespassed with me. Yes. Yeah.
Do you want to
So.
elaborate?
Yeah. No. Absolutely. So this is going back to Doha in Qatar. We were doing a show out there. I think. I think it was it was October. Basically, the weather was changing from very hot sun going to slightly milder weather but stormy weather. So and it does that in Qatar. So there was a sandstorm, and so we sat around. We were basically advised not to leave the hotel area, and not to wander around outside, etc., etc. And we decided, and the people involved were Johnny Storm, Tom Scarborough, Johnny Moss, myself, and Al Snow. But we decided that we wanted to go out and have a wander around, so we did. And in a sandstorm, I might add, which had eased off slightly. So we thought, oh, come on, we're not going to hang around. We'll go out. And basically, we ended up on this beach. And unknowingly, it wasn't a public beach. It was it was a beach that belonged to one of the many sheiks and various royal family members. And yeah, and basically we stood there on this beach, sands blowing around, and we see this black SUV speeding towards us, with a nice gentleman with a gun in his hand speeding towards us. So yeah, so yes, we have been caught trespassing on a beach in the Middle East.
That is
It was
brilliant.
if you ever want to elaborate on that story, I recommend reading Johnny Storm's book, which is available if you go on his social media. He's plugging it every 10 minutes. So.
We've actually spoke to Johnny
Story.
on the show as well, so I probably will get the book because I need background to that story.
It's just one of the things. It's you go to different places, and this for me probably started well 2009 in Egypt again, along with Al Snow, and a lot of the other guys either wanted to stay in the hotel rooms playing their Xboxes or whatever, or what they brought along for entertainment. And I was like, nah, if you visit somewhere, you go out and you look at if you've got the time. There are times where you'll fly in somewhere, do the show, and then you're straight back to the airport and you fly back again. You know, if you're lucky enough to spend an amount of time in a in a foreign country, go out and see it and go and have a look around and explore. Just don't trespass on beaches, etc. But yeah, so it was always that. It was like, oh, if you somewhere, go out, have a look. Yay, brilliant. So yeah, and that's how that sort of thing. So whenever Al's around, he's always right. Okay, let's go and visit this place, or let's go and have a look around here, or let's go to a theme park, or yeah, it's good fun.
Absolutely. Next question comes from the Nerdic Pro podcast. It says, "What was being on the set of Deep Heat like?"
Oh, really good. Again, I'm trying to think. It might have been Johnny Storm actually that sort of like messaged and said, "Oh, this or the company that he was on the books for said they were looking for extras for a wrestling show type thing that was happening." So we all sort of like registered, or we registered with his company, and they came back and they were like, "Oh, send some headshots, whatever." I sent back, obviously in referee, outfit, etc., etc. And they came back and they said, "Oh, there's a spot, a bit as a referee. Would you be interested?" Yes, I'd be interested. I'd do that. And it actually the day. Ooh, was it a day before? Yeah, the day before I was due to go, I'd already booked like my train tickets and everything. And now I don't drive. Now, in wrestling, it's usually better if you can drive so you can get to gigs, etc., etc. Unfortunately, when I started learning to drive, which I did take lessons many years ago, passed my theory. But it just got so expensive, and it was like, do you know what? I can get on a train. I can, jump in with someone else, whatever. Anyway, I digress. So yeah, the day before they said, oh, they've decided to go with someone else to do the refereeing bit. Oh, we're really sorry. I said, well, just booked everything. He says, well, no. He says, we'll just offer you it as an extra. just come along, so you don't lose, you know, any money. I was like, okay, so I did go along and I went, and it ended up, um, all the other extras that were there, because obviously you all go into a room, um, they were either not fans of wrestling, didn't know what wrestling was, or just didn't care really. So it ended up kind of being like, sort of like, the cheerleader that were making them sort of cheer and react in certain places, and it ended up, it was either the first or the second director like pulled me aside after the day of filming and said, "Oh, you've really upped tight. It's been great. Da 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 da. So we're going to give you extra for this, extra for this, and extra for this." So I ended up making more money doing that than I would have done if I'd have been featured, as the referee. So yeah, so that was great. Max, who wrote that, Max and Ivan, I believe. No, it was Max and Ivan. Brilliant. Max, I'd known from the FWA days, as a young lad coming into the business, but yeah, his comedy's brilliant, and I do believe, they did a show at the Apollo or Hammersmith, in Hammersmith, London. They did the comics versus the wrestlers, which I believe sold out. So they did really well as that. Yeah, a bit of FOMO there, because it'd be like, oh, that'd have been great to be, that'd have been great to be involved with. You know what I mean? But, so yeah,
Absolutely.
but
And then
yeah,
last,
go on.
sorry, carry on.
Yeah, so I just say, so yeah, so it was, yeah, DP was pretty good. I've done a few bits of extras, doing bits and pieces here and there, so they're always interesting.
Absolutely. Next one comes from, the last one comes from Harvey Ballag. I said that right. It says, "What was it like to ref for 4FW?"
For FW, yeah. D- uh, they were good. So Swindon, sorry, I had a bit of a brain fog then. Yeah. So yeah, David Sharp, Swindon. Yeah, they were good shows. I enjoyed working them. So because Dave would always bring somebody slightly different and slightly, away from the mainstream. Like he'd had Kenny Omega over, which was always good. He had, wrestlers from All Japan and New Japan. But yeah, the Mecca at Swindon was always a good place to go and do shows. I enjoyed that. I really did enjoy doing 4FW shows, and of course, I hooked him up with Rey Mysterio, when they did a show, at the Mecca at Swindon. So that was always, I mean, that was good. Rey Mysterio in for 4FW. So yeah, no, I enjoyed that. Kind of missed Swindon. I like Swindon. I like Mecca. So that's a good venue.
So let's obviously start at the beginning, mate. How did it all begin?
Right. So okay. I sound like a broken record. I've said this so many times. So basically, when I was younger, my mum used to take me to wrestling shows, and I would say from the age of about 7 or 8. So we'd go, and this was in Scunthorpe at the Baths Hall. So, and it was always on a Wednesday night. Always on a Wednesday night. So it was always sort of a school night. But no, my mum would take me to the wrestling, and I fell in love with it there. And then we moved back to Bridlington. And in the summertime, it was great because it was on every single week on a Monday night throughout the summer season, from sort of like, um, end of June all the way through to September. Every night through the summer season, every Monday night through the summer season. So yeah, so I would go, and that's where I started to go and help them put up the ring, and then sort of like throw myself about, and then over time, I would ask various wrestlers if, you know, I really want to be a wrestler. I really want to be a wrestler. And some would take me in the ring, stretch me, and I'd keep going back, keep going back, keep going back. And that's really how it started. Obviously, I used to watch World of Sport on a Saturday afternoon, so you'd watch the wrestling. Your big daddies, Giant Haystacks, Kendo Nakazaki's, Marty Jones, Fit Finlay, you know, Steve Regal's, Mark Rocco, all of that great stuff. So yeah, so that's how it was for me. And as I say, you know, 35 years to still be involved. And there has been a few times where I've gone, oh, that's it, I'm done. Do you know what I mean? I can't do it anymore. Or my body's turned around and various things where I've had to go, right, that's it, I gotta stop now. But touch wood, which I don't seem to have in here. I'm still going. So, and as I say, busy, busy few weeks in a couple of weeks. So, looking forward to it. So, and so I still love it.
I was going to say,
So,
what's the key thing? What keeps you going? Do you know what I mean? What's that factor? What keeps you, driving?
uh, there's there's always the love for wrestling. There's always a love for wrestling. It's if you go doing a if you're going to do a show, um, and you sort of don't get the goosebumps before sort of like the start of a show or going out to a show. Um, I mean, for me, and it's probably more, you know, for a wrestler as well. If a wrestler stood behind the curtain and the music's playing and they don't have goosebumps and they don't have that sort of adrenaline rush, then maybe then it's time to sort of, you know, that's how I feel anyway. And I know that's been said a few times for wrestling. I think even Ric Flair said the same thing. So if you're stood behind the curtain and your music's playing and you're about to go out and you don't feel excitement or you don't feel adrenaline, you don't feel, you know, the goosebumps, then maybe then it's time for you to go, that's it, I'm done. So yeah, and again, new. It's always nice when something new comes along and you're sort of involved in it, and it's like, oh, great. It's always saying, right, you know, how far is this going to go, or how much more are they going to do, or is it just going to be a one-off, or is it going to continue, or you know, I'm going to end up working here for the next 5 years, or doing shows here for 5 years, or whatever. So that's always a good thing. It frustrates you as well. It's but it's more the okay where things frustrate you and you go, oh, I can't be dealing with this. Do you know what I mean? Not at my age. I can't be dealing with this at my age. But it's also the, oh, hang on a minute. It's the is it FOMO, fear of missing out. There's a lot of FOMO. There's a lot of fear of missing out. So, or you look at other people and it's like, oh my goodness, they're doing really well. So yeah.
So how do you go from obviously helping out to basically becoming probably one of the biggest refs obviously in the country?
Um, I must be slipping off that perch now, surely. Do you know what I mean? Old Tom Scarborough's, do you know what I mean? Sort of like he's behind me with a big, you know, big stick ready to push me out, out the way. Bless him. Um, I, there's a lot. There is a lot of luck to it, but also I think as well. If I weren't able to do the job um, properly, correctly, professionally, then you know, then it's because there are. I'm not saying so much around about, but you will always find people that go, oh, I can do that, or I can do that, and oh, that's easy. I can do that. I can stand in the middle of a ring, and you know, I can count to three, or you know, count up to 10 or whatever, or just slap my hand on the three times. You know what I mean? That's frustrating. That's frustrating. Somebody will say, "Oh, would really love you on the show. You know, you've done so much, and oh, we really love you to referee, etc., etc." Yeah, that's great. Okay, are you available this day? Yeah, I'm available that day. Okay. Oh, well, how much is it going to cost me? Well, it's going to cost you this. Oh, Oh, okay. I'll get one of my mates to do it. Okay,
Wow.
fine. It has happened. It has happened. It's like, right, okay. Well, if you can't afford, if 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 you don't want to invest wholly into your show, and I mean from top to bottom, not just, right, well, we're gonna fly in a big import or whatever, we're gonna pay them, thousands, so to bring in, because that's what's going to draw the money. But then you neglect the rest of the show. So it's like, oh well, Mark, we'll get our Uncle Dave to do the ring announcing, because he's, we've heard him at weddings. He's really funny. Or, a referee. Oh, well, we can just get anyone. That's easy. They just stand there in a striped shirt. And you see it. Or, I mean, I have seen it over the years. You know what I mean? Like, okay, we're gonna spend all our money on one person. Do you know what I mean? Because that'll draw in the fans, and then neglect the rest of the show, and then people remember more how much went wrong to the things that have gone right. Honestly, there could be one little thing that goes wrong, or one thing that's done on that show, and everyone's like, do you remember that ring announcer? As soon as he got in the ring, he's like, well, this is effing great, isn't it? And that's it. And everyone will remember that. Everyone will remember that. So yeah. So if if you're gonna put money into a wrestling show, um, but you neglect to make sure all the boxes are ticked and everything's gone right, it's okay. You're probably only gonna run one show. So,
You've kind of described one pro wrestling a little bit there.
yeah. 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 But I mean, there was a lot of elements there, weren't there? So
Yeah.
yeah, a lot of elements there.
Yeah.
So, which not once, not twice, but 3 times, 3 attempts. Yeah.
Is that including this one recently as well?
Did they actually run?
They came back for a good 4 shows, I think it was.
Right. Did it not go away and was going to come back? Okay, right. Yeah, no, wasn't
Yeah,
involved.
that's a whole show. I mean, that's a whole debate in itself, and obviously, we don't want to focus on that.
Right. Okay. Okay. Not saying I
Uh,
wasn't approached, but I didn't get to do a show, so I don't know. I was at the very first 1PW show.
Yeah, but even though, like I said, it's well documented, obviously, what happened and stuff like that, the product itself, John, the matches were generally incredible, let's be honest.
Well, yeah. I mean, yeah. I mean, the first show. I mean, sorry. Actually, no. I was involved with 1PW. Ah, that's the 50+ brain kicking in. Yes. But it wasn't. I wasn't involved when Steve was running it. I got involved when somebody else took over, and then somebody else took over, and I was involved a little bit there. So yeah. So yeah, I was involved with 1PW, but not this latest incarnation.
Okay, so let's obviously stick with the refereeing thing and stuff like that. How would you say it's evolved over the years?
Uh, mm, Describe evolved. People will say that. People will say, "Oh, the business is changing." Wrestling hasn't changed. Wrestling has always been good guy versus bad guy. That's your premise. Cowboys versus Indians. That's wrestling. Yeah. So wrestling has always been bringing punters. That's a horrible word. I hate that word. Paying fans off the street into a venue or onto seats, bums on seats. So that hasn't changed. So yeah, so when people say, "Oh, wrestling's changed so much," it hasn't. Your ground fundamentals haven't changed. Probably what's changed is the way that the business is, or that wrestling is shown, or what the fans would like to see. If does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So whereas before they would like to see, people would go and would sit there and you'd have hour-long matches, which were technical. Even going back to British wrestling, because we used to do rounds, Lord Mount Haven rules, 6-3 or 6 5 minutes or 12 5-minute rounds or etc. Basically rounds. And I did a show in Bulgaria a few weeks ago, and one of the matches on there was they did a world of, they call it a world of sport rules match, which was basically it did 6 3-minute rounds. It was James Mason, Mike Quackenbush, and before it was like, are the Bulgarian fans are the fans gonna take this, or are they gonna they're gonna fart on it? It's gonna be completely dead. It's gonna be totally lost on them, because wrestling hadn't been shown in Bulgaria for so long. And as it transpired, it was the first show. The show was a complete sellout. They sold the venue out, and the fans were knowledgeable, and it was great, and they were hot all night. And then when they went to do this, this World of Sport match, when James went out and Mike went out, and they went out and did 6 3-minute rounds, which I refereed, and it was like they loved it. It was like, after the first 3-minute round, and it went so quick. The whole match went so quick, because you're doing 3-minute rounds. And yeah, they loved it. Absolutely loved it. It was like, oh my goodness. After the first round, it was like, no, they get it. They get it. Because we were sort of like watching from behind the matches that were on previously. And yeah, the Bulgarian fans were amazing. It was just like going to a show anywhere around the world where it was just a hot crowd for wrestling. So I'm looking forward to going back to Bulgaria. It was great.
100%. Now, you've been in so many promotions, you know what I mean? I mean, WCPW, Defiant, obviously World of Sport, Ring of Honor, TNA, New Japan, Noah, QPW. Is there anywhere you've not been?
Yes. WWE. That's it. I even did one. WCW came over to the UK. I'm going to say 1999. It was basically the year before Ted Turner wanted to get rid of it, and they did a show, and I did some extra work for them up in Manchester. So a few of us went up there, and we did like ring security, and did some filming for there. So yeah, so WWE, and AEW obviously, but that would be my tick off. That would be a big tick off for me.
100% and stuff like that. So let's pick TNA. How did that all come about?
So Jeremy Borash. So every year they'd come over to the UK and do a live tour, because obviously they were on like Challenge TV. So every year they'd come to the UK. January. And yeah, so obviously I knew Jeremy Borash. I knew a lot of the wrestlers, etc., who'd worked for Impact TNA at the time. I was a lot bigger back then. I was a lot bigger. I was probably up in the 20 stone plus region. And I would always go out and be the same joke. I'd go to the, and I'd go, come on, Jeremy, you coming over to the UK? When can I get to referee one match? Oh yeah, well, maybe next time. And then I lost a load of weight. And again, same thing. Went. They'd always do a fan party, or they'd always do a fan party before they were coming over in January, obviously to hype the shows and get the interest going. And I went to this fan party, and Jeremy says, we want to bring you up on stage. You want to do something? Yeah, that's fine. You've lost all this weight. But brilliant. Okay. So I went up, and then Jeremy's like, and we want to announce it that Steve will be refereeing, guest referee, Wembley, Wembley Arena show in January. And I was, oh wow, okay. But I ended up doing the whole tour. So I ended up going up to Glasgow. I did the tapings up at Glasgow, and then we went to Manchester, Wembley, and then they were doing a pay-per-view, Birmingham. So I ended up doing the whole lot. Yeah. So that was great. So I've always been thankful to Jeremy for that. But of course, not really gonna have a big fat referee on their TV shows, are they? But sorry. Yeah, okay, we can use you there. So yeah, so that was great. Did British Boot Camp. Did British Boot Camp 2? They did 2, didn't they?
Yeah, it was the second one with Casey Owens and a sister, weren't it?
Yeah. So that was the one with Spud, Shaw Samuel.
Spud number was season 1, wasn't it?
Yeah. Yes. Sorry. Yes, he did. So it was the second. It was the second British Boot Camp. So Grado, Shaw Samuels, Joel Redman, all these names kept flicking. Yeah, I think it was definitely the second one. I think it was definitely the second British Boot Camp. So you have to look that one up now. I'm pretty sure it's. I definitely think it was the second one. So, but again, Jeremy Borash came over. You're right. It probably is because Spud won the first one.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. So doing that. As I say, whenever Ring of Honor had come over to the UK, I would end up refereeing for them. Pro Wrestling Noah, whenever they come over, I always ended up helping out with those guys. So, and again, working with the New Japan wrestlers, All Japan wrestlers. Yeah. So, again, looking back on it, you think, I haven't really done anything. It's only when you sort of look back and go, oh, okay, well, you did that and you've done this and you've worked for these guys. It's, yeah.
So let's obviously sum that up. I mean, what's some of your favourite moments working with promotions like this?
There's lots. There's no one thing that sort of stands out as such. Although, going back to that, to the 1PW thing that you pulled out when they brought over Muta, and that show didn't happen. I ended up refereeing Muta in London for Len Davis, God rest his soul. Yeah, basically Len took that on and said, "Oh, we can't have egg on our face," as in the UK wrestling scene, because of one thing that had happened. So York Hall, in Bethnal Green, yeah, refereed the Great Muta versus Martin Stone, or Danny Briggs is now known in the US. So yeah, so that was a pretty cool moment, refereeing Great Muta. But again, kind of like not wanting to name drop because I'm definitely not known for name dropping. If you look at the roster now at WWE, um, you sort of look at it and go, yeah, ref him, yeah, him, yeah, ref him. So you got like your AJ Styles, your Rey Mysterio,
Drew McIntyre.
Drew. Yeah, there's a lot on there. The War Raiders, yeah, Ivan, and yeah, there's a lot of guys that previously have come over to the UK, and I've had the pleasure of refereeing at some point. So yeah, Sheamus. Yeah, there's a long list. I have to sort of sit down and sort of go, oh, okay, okay. My stepson, he will do that. He'll go, oh, have you refereed this guy? Yeah. Oh, yeah, Finn Balor. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Refereed Finn. Yeah, yeah. Oh, Seth Rollins. Yeah, but he wasn't Seth Rollins. It was Tyler Black at the time. So yeah, you kind of look through and go, oh, I've refereed half of that match. So I kind of do that sometimes, but which is great as well because he works at the Fanatic store in London.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I think his manager or his boss is quite a big wrestling fan. So I've said to him because I'm in London at the end of the month. Cheap plug. Doing the Lucha Libre shows at the York Hall. 30th and 31st of, yeah, there you go. Look at that. I like that. Oh,
I come prepared.
that is fantastic. I'm so used to things like that happening. Post edit. It's like, yeah, talk about this, and then we'll do this post edit because, of course, we're live, aren't we? We're live, yeah. Hey, that's really good. Yeah, so I'm there doing those shows. It's Santos's last European tour in the UK, and then I go to Germany as well on the 1st of November. So 2 shows at the York Hall, and then fly over to Germany to Berlin. So I'm looking forward to that. That's really good. That's good. I'm well impressed at that. I'm impressed at that. That's brilliant.
Absolutely. Yeah, we go live, we go straight and stuff like that. Now, you've worked with some great legends. You mentioned the Great Muta and stuff like that. And you've also met somebody who I'm a massive fan of, Liger.
Oh, yes. Many times. Many times. In fact, the last time was back in February, QPW. So Liger was brought over as a guest. Yes, yeah, he's sort of. I did meet him when I was like trying to get in, sort of like into the UK scene many years ago. So yeah, and then throughout the years, when he turned into Jushin Thunder Liger, I've had the opportunity of refereeing him a few times. So always good. As I say, last February he was over in Doha with Minoru Suzuki. So we managed to go to a local Japanese noodle bar, sit down and chat. So always good fun. Always good fun. So you're a big Jushin Liger.
Yeah, one of my absolute favourites.
Yeah. Yeah, I believe he's in the UK November.
I think he is because I know Casey Owens is going to be on that show as well.
Yeah, there you go.
So I'm going to try and get to that one.
Yeah, I'm trying to think what I'm doing if I want to make it's such a pain trying to travel somewhere if you're like either working or have to be back, and always going through central London is a pain. It's not going to London. That's not the problem. It's if you have to go the other side of London. It always ends up taking the same amount of time to get to the other side of London than it is just to get to London. So
Absolutely. So I know, like I said, 35 years, you probably ref thousands of matches and stuff like that. If you could pick like your top 3, what would they be?
Top 3 matches. This is. There was so I would say one of them that's definitely up there was the Coventry Skydome. And now I'm gonna my brain's gonna fail me now. It was definitely Coventry Skydome. And it was a 6-man match. It definitely Doug Williams, Too Cold Scorpio, because they were the IWGP Tag Team Champions. And oh my goodness, I'm trying to think who the other. My brain's gonna fail me on this. Oh, feels. Oh, it'll be one of these where we'll stop and it'll flood back to me. It'll be like, that was the one. Yeah, it was. I think that was part of a Noah. Was that part of a Noah tour, or was it a? Was it an FWA? It might have been an FWA. It wasn't. I think it was an FWA because I think it was probably the same show that Mick Foley was on. And I'm trying to think of the name of the show because they did a couple at Coventry. Because one of them had Raven on there. It might have been. I think Mizawa was involved in that as well, which I refereed. Oh, that could have been it. It could have been it. Mizawa. I know Doug Williams, and I know Too Cold Scorpio, and I'm probably mixing up the matches. Anyway, it was one of them was at Coventry Skydome. And I apologise, viewers, that my brain's gone totally thing. AJ Styles versus Johnny Storm at the York Hall, which was a phenomenal match. I think that was a Ring of Honor versus FWA at the York Hall. There's so many. No, King of Europe was Liverpool, Olympia, Liverpool. And the final was Doug Williams versus Nigel McGuinness.
Mm-hmm.
And I took a headbutt in that. Yeah, I remember that. King of Europe was pretty cool, actually. I'm doing a show a week today, UPW, and Rhino's on that show. And yeah, so I'm gonna reminisce a little bit because he was on that King of Europe show. Was he on the King of Europe? Was it King of Europe? You see what I mean about my brain going? Promoters, I'm still good. I don't forget matches. It's just long-term memory sometimes lets me down a bit.
Let's have a look, shall we? I've got the internet here. So 2007. That's when it was.
Was it 2007? Really?
Yeah.
Because I was. Wow.
So yeah, the final was. Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say because I tell you what I've been trying to think about was a show that happened in Wolverhampton, and I think it was the following year. It was Independence Day 2000. Is it Independence Day? It was a show that was run over like 2 nights in Wolverhampton. Indy 2008 or something like that. Independence Day 2008. Anyway, go on, carry on. 2007 main event.
Main event was Doug Williams and Nigel McGuinness, as you said. Nigel obviously versus Davey Richards the round before, versus Pac obviously the round before that, and then versus Rhino obviously at the start.
Right, so that was it. So that's what I remember. I remember Rhino versus Nigel McGuinness. I also remember Davey Richards versus the Zebra Kid. That was a full locker room draw. That was. And when I say a locker room draw, it means every wrestler that was in the back was at the curtain watching that match.
It's a good show.
Which
I
I'm
mean,
sure has been covered in many storytelling things. Yes, Roy Knight, the Zebra Kid, versus Davey Richards. There you go. That show. Watched if people watch that match.
I've watched the final match, Doug and obviously Nigel, because that's probably one of my favourites.
Yeah, there was a lot of good matches on there. El Generico was on that, right? So Sami
Yes.
Zayn.
Yep.
And Claudio.
Yep. There was quite a few Ring of Honor ones. Let's run through
Yeah.
Because we've got technology, we can have a look. Yeah, so the people were running it as followed: Chris Hero, Claudio, Doug Williams, Aries, Yo Saito, what I said that right? Jody Fleisch, Matt Seidel, El Generico, Go Shio Sasaki, I said that right? Martin
Go
Stone.
Shiozaki. So he was also in the match at the Coventry Skydome. You see what I'm saying about things coming back when people brilliant.
Zebra Kid, Pac, Trent Acid, Nigel McGuinness, and Rhino. Do you know what I mean that's a star-studded lineup there? Let's be honest.
It really is. It really is. If you go back to those to sort of that period, sort of like FWA, post FWA, yeah, there was some cracking shows that were happening. So and a lot of talent loved coming over to the UK. A, because they probably made good money. B, they were just you could sort of pretty much guarantee you could sell or near sell out shows, and that's when it started progressing to things going in, to the Coventry Skydome. It's amazing. I mean, if I'm not mistaken, Rev Pro are doing Wembley Arena next year.
Yes, they are. I know they've done quite a lot Rev Pro lately.
Mad. That's mad. Not mad for them. I mean, it's just mad to think that a British company is going to Wembley Arena. And don't get me wrong, way back in the day, like going back, again going back to the old world of sport days, yeah, they would run Wembley Arena. You had Big Daddy and Giant Haystacks top of the bill doing a Wembley Arena show, and pulling in 10,000 people. They would run the Royal Albert Hall quite regularly, back in the day. So it wasn't unheard of, but obviously wrestling, or British wrestling, took a major sad decline, and then it's slowly built up, and then we had it again, and we had another decline, and now wrestling at the minute is what I would call is at the top of the circle at the minute, everywhere. So business is good everywhere.
100% agree and stuff like that. Now let's obviously talk about World of Sport. You do so much apart from reffing. I think you're a manager. You do there's so many things. You've got so many hats of World of Sport, haven't you?
I've got a few. We did a show last September. I mean, that's amazing to think as well. It's been over a year now since that. So yes, I booked the talent for that. Wrote the show, and then I was going to referee on the show, but I pulled back, and I actually helped run things backstage in conjunction with a few other people that were running in the gallery, and just sort of in between. So yeah, I've done a little bit. that was an experience. it was.
Absolutely.
It was.
I think
A
we've got
good
to bring him back.
a good experience. It was good to put on that hat and do that. That was quite good. I've always tried to help. If new promotions or anything, I'll always try and help out. Because for me, I'd rather see a promotion run for 10 years and give me, it sounds awful. Give me 10 years worth of work than someone coming in doing one big show and then gone. There's no fun in that. There's no
Didn't you
fun
do
in
the
that.
GWK one recently?
Yes.
My hometown.
Yes. Yeah. Barnsley.
Yep, my
Yeah.
hometown.
I think you'll probably see us again.
Yeah, definitely will and stuff like that. 'Cause I had so much like good stuff about the matches.
Yeah. Yeah. There was good matches on there. Everyone pulled together. It was a good show. It was a good show. I only a couple of days ago spoke with the promoter. So yeah, watch this space. Watch this
Absolutely.
space.
Absolutely. So a few little more questions, mate. I also begin to wind down and stuff like that. Like I said, I mean, 35 years, so much stuff like that. What's the goal for now for you, man? What do you obviously want to do next?
Um, yeah. Do you know what? To do something with WWE would be great before I permanently um permanently go home, as we like to say in the business. So to do something would be nice, whether it be I think I could referee. I don't see why not. Charles Robinson's still doing it, so you know. Excuse me. Yeah, so that would be cool. Go to Japan would be amazing. Um, but I think it. What I do now is more quality over quantity. So I do pick and choose where I work now or where I want to go. Um, and I think age has got a lot to do with it. And like now, I've got grandchildren now, so obviously when my children were younger, I'd be away quite a bit. Um, not to the degree that the boys were, back in the good old days, when they were on the road 300 days a year. Do you know what I mean? Like there was sort of nothing that. Although some of the guys in the UK were pretty much out if they were working for Brian Dixon and doing the various little indie promotions. So there were guys that were pretty much out. 5 or 6 days a week. But yeah, to do that would be nice. And it's always nice if a new project comes along and you're there from the beginning, so you can kind of watch that grow. As I say, Bulgaria. Like honestly, in my heart, I think something good will happen there because they haven't had live wrestling out there for uh, many, 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 many years. So that's a brand new market. And the guy out there who's running his own academy. So there are new guys being trained to wrestle. They've got several wrestlers that go out there each month. So there's always training happening. A second show lined up. So I'll be going out to do that. Like I say, the show in Barnsley was great. So Al came over for that. Yeah, yeah. Again, it's the FOMO, it's the fear of missing out. Do you know? Do you know what I mean? I still want to, be relevant. Into my 60s and 70s. So,
I wonder what the record is for the oldest ref.
well, Mal Mason did it for quite a long time. I think it might be a gentleman called Al Saxon. I think he refereed for LDN wrestling, and he was into. It was either late 80s or 90s or something like that. But I don't think I'd want to be that where I'm like not able to to get up and get down and, you know, like be a referee. You know, I wouldn't want to be, you know, helped helped into a ring. If I couldn't get into the ring, I think that would be it. Do you know what I mean? But I also, I mean, I ring announce as well. I ring announce, I do commentary. So if you guys need a ring announcer or commentator or, you know, referee or agent, you know, I'm available.
I think what we've got to do, Steve, we've got to bring you back for obviously a part two, because we've not even covered the surface of what you've done.
No, I don't think so either. And like maybe if people are watching this now, think, "Oh, well, we've got a question. We want to do it." You know, we got a question because you had 3 questions. I know you only put it out there yesterday. I knew Tom Scarborough was going to put something in there. I knew Tom would, you know, and it was either going to be something that would be interesting for everyone to hear, or it was going to be like, you know, a proverbial urine take. I hadn't swore once. Sorry, I'm not sure what you.
You know, you could have sworn the whole time. I'm not bothered.
Oh fuck! Now you tell me. Sorry. Yeah. So with Tom, you never know if it's going to be something that's going to be that can lead into a really interesting story or conversation, or if it's going to be a mistake. Do you know what I mean? So, but you know, I'm surprised he even put a question in. He's so busy. I know he was at the Hammersmith Apollo. He gets everywhere. So it's where somebody once said, it might have been Marty Jones once said that I get where water couldn't. Do you know what I mean? It's like now you look at somewhere and it's always Tom. It's always Tom. Do you know what I mean? So fair. You know, is a young whippersnapper. He's got all that energy. Do you know what I mean? I used to be that young once. So.
Yeah, so we'll definitely get in for a part 2, and hopefully, like I said, a little more fan questions obviously come in and stuff. So, a lot of referees obviously watch this show. Do you know what I mean? Obviously, they've been wrestling, obviously not as long as you have. But what advice would you give them to take that next step?
So I would always say, and I do say this, and I'm going to repeat myself now as say I've been out to Bulgaria, and me going out there is and showing them from a referee's point of view. Yeah, but I would always say to referees as well is like, you know, go to wrestling seminars as well, so learn that side of it as well. Because then you got a better understanding. I always think the reason I'm a good referee is because I started as a wrestler, a shit wrestler, but I still learnt the job from, you know, putting the ring up, to going in there, to bumping, to doing wrestling matches, to then. So it took me 10 years to realize that wrestling wasn't my calling. Although I can do it up here, you know, it's like a painter, and you have this canvas and you can envision this amazing bit of artwork, but then when you start to paint it, you know, it's shit. So I couldn't transfer in my mind what I wanted to put on the canvas, basically. Yeah, well, or a wrestling canvas. So yeah, so I found my calling doing other things. So the love was always there. The love for wrestling was always there. But yeah, so my calling was refereeing. So when I did that, but I would say to any sort of referee that's in it now, you know, learn everything. Learn everything. You know, keep gob shut, ears open, listen to everything. You know, take everything on board, even bad advice. Take bad advice on board, because there is always a lesson in something good and something bad. So yeah, so learn everything, take everything on board, and take away your own sort of lessons from that. But yeah, it's definitely an advantage knowing how a wrestler thinks, been in the ring as a referee. And I say the same to wrestlers as well. I say, you need to know how a referee works, because then it'll just make it so smoother. Do you know what I mean? Then you're not. But yeah. So yeah. But I'm not going to give away too much, because then people won't want to come and have a seminar.
Just enough. Just a little enough there.
Yeah, just enough. Oh, yeah, we probably need to go to one of these seminars. You know what I mean? We'll have to fly out to Bulgaria, see what this is all about. Yeah.
Absolutely. So you obviously sent me a couple of things I was to promote, so I'm going to promote this again for you. So do you want us to promote this?
Oh, look at that. Look at that. Oh, the York Hall. So I have got it right. It's the 30th and the 31st in London, isn't it? And it's the 1st of November in Berlin.
No, it's the 2nd in Berlin.
Is it the 31st and the 1st in London?
Yes.
There you go. So the 31st of October and the 1st of November, we are at the York Hall in Bethnal Green. And then after that, we fly out to Berlin and do a show in Berlin, which I'm very much looking forward to. 2nd of November.
Now, you spoke about it, obviously, the Bulgarian, obviously, wrestling league.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, that was the show that we did, which was absolutely amazing. Sellout show. I'm there mid-November, I think 18th, 19th, and 20th. I'm out there doing training. They all call me. Yeah, they all call me coach. They call all of us coaches. So James Mason goes out there. Michael Kovac goes out there. Obviously Mike Quackenbush did one out there. So yeah, they're very respectful guys. Very respectful guys. So they call us all coach. Hey coach. Hey coach. And that's quite nice. Because that could have gone either. That could have gone really bad. He brought out a referee to do training, but they were all very receptive. And a lot of them messaged me after, like, doing the 3 days, and said, we watched some matches, but we're watching what the referee does, and we now have a better understanding of how we can, use a referee. Again, I'm not going to say too much, because this stuff's gold. It's worth a fortune. And I think to wrestlers as well, not just to referees. there's a few there's wrestlers that need to know that there's not just a third person in that ring there to count your finish, or to get bumped or whatever. We're there for 3 people in a match, unless it's tag match, then there's 5. But you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And I'm a firm believer that a good referee can elevate a match. A bad referee, no matter how good the match, can destroy your match. So, but yeah, I am available for things.
Absolutely. Is there anything else you'd like to plug, my friend?
Yeah. So, next. I think I mentioned it earlier. I think next Saturday, UPW, Yeovil. Do you know what? My brain's fried. Oh my goodness, my brain is fried. I don't have my diary in front of me. I can't.
What we'll do is we'll put all links in the description of this video, so people can obviously jump from that. Is that easier?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, there's somebody that will watch this probably 6 months down the line and go, "Oh, where was that?" Because I've done that. I've watched stuff. I need to watch that, and I'll watch it, and it'll be 6 months out of date, and I'll have missed something.
Oh dear. So by the power of technology, you see the QR code above you there?
Yes.
So if people scan that will take them to your Instagram, so they can go and support you. How's that?
Oh, that would be amazing. That would be amazing, because that's a big thing now, isn't it? Social media is such a big thing. Yeah, like MySpace. I think I've still got a MySpace account.
Yeah, I think I have actually.
I can't knock it. I can't knock it. That got me to Egypt, and then in turn that got me to Qatar, and a long relationship with QPW. So yeah, so I can't knock that. I think today is more heavily driven social media and more reaching out and putting yourself out there, self promotion. Whereas back in the day, I really sound like an old fart, don't I? Well, back in my day, you waited until you was contacted, because that's what you were taught. Do you know what I mean? You know, if you're good enough, they will come to you. If you're good enough, if you're worth your salt, they'll come to you. But yeah, it's now. I see everyone, and they're so on this self promotion, which is I would have probably got a lot more work if I was more, you know, self promoting. You know, I mean, I'm self promoting now, aren't I? You've got me a little QR code. That's brilliant, that is.
It is
Brilliant.
about the power of nectology. So, Steve, I need one more thing from you. Everyone I interview gets to do the outro for this show, so you can say anything you want. You can promote anything you want. The stream, Steve, take it away.
Wow. Well, thank you for watching. Thank you for tuning in. If it is 6 months later, thank you for looking at this up and thing. Scan my little QR code thing there. Join me, Instagram. You see lots of little baby pictures at the minute of my grandchildren. It's been a pleasure. And I look forward to coming back. And
Absolutely.
take care.
Definitely have you back for a part 2, mate. That's definitely in the pipeline.